And good morning. I've started the recording. My name is Derek Durazio. I'm the Compliance Officer and Branch Manager for North Carolina Emergency Management, or NCEM. I'm here with various staff from the Grants Management Branch, and this is, I don't know, about our 8th or 9th information session for the FY24 NSGP program, Nonprofit Security Grant Program. We've had a series of these informational sessions. I said probably 6, 7 previous ones. We're getting closer to the end of the application deadline. So as we get close to the application deadline, we want to keep doing these information sessions and answering your questions for potential applicants who join these webinars. Normally with these webinars, they're all recorded and the recordings are on our website. We run through an entire agenda. So we run through an introduction, as I'm doing now. Then we have a presentation about the grant, subsequent presentation discussion about the grant. Then we roll into an actual showing y'all how to register if you don't have any registered in Salesforce to get an account and a contact created. And then we go and roll right into a Salesforce demonstration to show y'all how to actually submit applications in Salesforce if you know how to do it. But again, we've done that many other times. We have recordings of it. And we only have a couple folks joining us or in the audience. So I'm going to, before we do anything else, I want to turn it over to our guests in the audience. I see Larry's a return guest, and I see Jen. I will turn it over to y'all and see if you have any specific questions that you'd like to ask, and we can address those maybe rather than going through the whole spiel. So Larry, what questions do you have, sir?
Thank you, Derek. I have 3 questions.
Okay.
And I'm doing this for the first time on behalf of my church, Epworth United Methodist Church in Durham. And the first has to do with the 3-quote requirement.
Okay.
I know that's been discussed in every Zoom call we've had on this, and including one that was done in February. But I don't see, and I'm no doubt this question's been answered, and forgive me for asking one that's already been answered. But I don't see anything in the materials or in the application that has any mention of the requirement of 3 quotes. I did check with Brad, and he referred me to the applicable federal regulation that, and I glanced over that, and my eyes glazed over. It was typical of federal regulations. I was hoping it might be easier to understand than most, but it's not. So I guess my initial question is, is the 3-quote requirement something that can be done after the submission of the application?
Yes. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, that's a great. To make a long story short, yes, but you don't need the quotes for your application. Okay. You're allowed to submit quotes in support of your application. It's additional documentation you can submit. Some folks do say, hey, we want to buy XYZ. That's what we're applying for. Here's the quote we got to show you that, we know how much it's going to cost, right? We've done some planning on this. So you can do that. That's not required. It's optional documentation you can choose to submit. But where you must submit it is if you are awarded funds, right? If you are awarded funds, depending on your local procurement policy, okay? It depends on how much the purchase is, what your policy states in comparison to the federal requirements. It will say how many bids you must have and what rules you must follow. Now, we brought it up in the context of contract security because that will almost always require 3 quotes for contract security. But again, it depends on the level of your purchase, what you're purchasing, and what your rules say versus what the federal rules say. And you go with the most restrictive of the policies. So you'd have to be able to, and you have to produce your own organization's procurement policy if you were awarded funds. Okay, it's one of the 5 documents you're required to produce for us if you are awarded funds, and it comes into play. And when you submit your request for reimbursement, okay, assuming you followed your procurement policy, then if it's an eligible expenditure, you must submit an invoice, right? That's showing the bill for the good or service you received. You must submit proof you paid the invoice. Okay, an invoice alone is not enough. You must pay the invoice, submit proof of that. Okay, and then if you followed your procurement policy, you have the invoice, you have the proof of payment. then we could go ahead and, if it's eligible expenditure, consistent with the scope work that's approved for your project, we can then go ahead and reimburse you. So it comes into a post-award, criteria. And all that will be in a kind of a future session of Salesforce. If you get awarded, we show you how to submit those reimbursement requests in the system. Yep. So, but as far as price quotes now, not required. You can submit them optionally, and we showed you Salesforce has a way to submit as much documentation as you want at the end of your application under the other box. You can submit as much as you want, but you don't have to submit those quotes.
Wonderful. That's a big relief, and
Yep, absolutely.
thank you for answering that question. And if we are awarded,
yep,
you'll tell us what the 5 documents we need to submit.
And they're in Salesforce now. You can choose to upload those 5 documents with your application if you want. It's not required, but there's a list of them, and I can tell you what they are right now. But it's a procurement policy. Okay, it's going to be a statement of no conflict of a conflict of interest statement, a statement of no overdue taxes. There will be a W-9, like a tax form, and finally an electronic vendor payment form, because all of our reimbursements are now done electronically. They're electronically paid, paid to the bank account you indicate on the form. So those are 5 documents that are required. Again, you can choose to upload them with your application or just spot through that in Salesforce, but not required until or unless you get awarded funds.
And if I go into our Salesforce account, I'll see mention of those 5 documents.
So you can upload them to your account. Where you will see them specifically is on your application. Okay, as you go through the application process in Salesforce, when you get to the end and you have to upload the documents, you will see a list of those things, the documents that you can choose to upload. You must upload your investment justification, your mission statement, and your vulnerability assessment. Those are the required uploads, but you can also upload optionally the 5 required documents. You'll see them listed on the page at that time, the 5 required documents. And you could also optionally upload any other documentation in support of your application. I think we talked about this before, such as police reports, crime statistics, and price quotes to support your budget if you'd like to do that as well. So that's the optional information.
Right. And again, the 3 documents that are required are the mission statement, which is separate from the mission statement summary that's put in the IV, right? I mean, in the investment justification IJ.
Yeah, I mean, we have the summary on there. Yeah, but we need the actual, written out, printed mission statement, whatever that looks like for your organization.
Right. So mission statement, the investment justification, and the what is the
vulnerability assessment. Yeah, the vulnerability assessment. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, vulnerability.
That's the key. Yeah.
Of course.
That's
yes. And we've gotten that from Josh Modlin from.
Okay. Oh yeah. Great.
That you may. I'm sure you know him, but we got that a couple months ago. So we've got that one taken care of. All right, that takes care of question 1. Question 2.
All right.
What I'm noticing that there are only so many words I can put in the windows of the investment justification. Is there a word count limitation in each of those areas for a response, or is that something is that a problem with my computer or something?
That was a good question. I didn't think there was a word count. I thought the box expanded algorithmically. Brad, do you know on the IJ form from FEMA, is there a word count limit on some of the boxes?
Is.
There is? Okay. Do you know what it is?
I'm believing it's in the 250 range. It's never specified the exact count. They just said it's a limit on there.
Okay. So I guess when you hit your limit, Larry, you know it, and if you've hit it, you've got too many words.
Well, I've hit it. So I just need to make sure whatever we say is within that limit. Okay, so that's it's not a problem with my computer.
No, Larry, and it was explained to me that they put the limitation on it so that people won't just start, for lack of a better word, rambling on with answers. Sure. They want concise, specific answers to the questions.
Yes, well, my wife tells me I ramble on, so that's probably a good limit for me to have, and some guardrails I need. All right, finally, the in section 4B of the investment justification.
Larry, you're breaking up on us.
Oh, can't hear you. Is this better?
There you go.
Yeah, good. Sorry, I guess I got too close to the mic. Section 4B of the investment justification refers to an authorized equipment list, a notice of funding opportunity, and a preparedness grants manual.
Yep.
And then we're supposed to, in that section, put in an AEL number and title. So we need to find those documents online. I found an AEL website, I think related to FEMA,
Yep.
that had a lot of drop-down menus. And so that's what we're supposed to
yeah, that's a good
numbers.
question. Yeah, that's a good question for the AEL, the authorized equipment list. So there, I can show you the website in a minute, where probably the website you found that has the FEMA AELs on there, and it's a big long list. You can type it in, you can search it. But for ease of convenience, what they've done with the investment justification form in Section 4B, and again, this is a FEMA form, it's not an NCM form, so it's the federal government's form, not ours. But what they've done is they have put drop-down lists here, Larry, for you. So you just click that arrow, you just pick which one you want. So it's pretty much all right here. For goods and services.
No, I didn't
they make it
pick up
easy for
on
you.
that. So
Yeah.
Great. That's a big relief.
Yeah. It's really nice. Yeah, we did, because they don't always do that. It's a nice feature on this form. So all you do is just go ahead and pick which one's applicable, and you have multiple lines here. Again, one site, if you only have one location, $150,000 maximum application amount for your application. So you can put multiple lines equaling $150,000. And you must put your vulnerability to be addressed next to each line and how much money it's going to cost. That's how you do it.
And we put an estimate there based on our best good faith estimate, and then we'll have to support that with the 3 quotes. If we're approved.
So, like I said, some folks actually get a quote now, because a quote's not buying anything; it's a price quote, right? So that you could get a quote to help you estimate how much it's going to cost, and you could attach that quote if you want into Salesforce, not required. But some folks, say I'm getting, I want to get security. What do we say here? Say I want to get, lighting. What is lighting? Okay, I want to get some new lighting. Okay, you may have an estimate, right? That a contractor came out, or you may be trying to buy certain fixed lighting. Well, if you have an estimate or a quote, you use that amount in there, right? Rather than just saying, "Oh, I think lights cost $1,000." Well, where'd you get that from? You have some reasonable basis for the estimate, and then of course tie it back to the vulnerability to be addressed, right? Hopefully that vulnerability assessment that Josh Modlin did says, "Hey, we've got reduced lighting in this corner of our parking lot that creates a potential vulnerability," right? You cite that vulnerability there, and you put your money in, how much it's going to cost in there, and there's your AEL. And then remember, when we walk through Salesforce, this has to basically be cut and pasted into the budget in Salesforce, right? This AEL and this information. So you have to build your budget in Salesforce as well.
Okay. So that goes, cut and paste on that. All right. Yep. That's a big help. And so is there anything in the NOFO, the Notice of Funding Opportunity, or the Preparedness Grants Manual that I need to know something about to fill out any part of the investment justification?
So, I mean, the NOFO is really long. If you don't, you think the federal regulations are bad, read the NOFO. It's really long.
I don't. Unless you tell me it's really something I've got to read.
What we've tried to do on our website to kind of make it a little easier. I mean, we have a link to the NOFO if you want to see the whole NOFO, but we try to make it a little easier on our website. So what we have here is a link to the information about the projects. So right down here in the website, it talks about your primary purpose is going to be target hardening, right? So that's going to be the title of your project. And then these are the example projects that come on this link here. Okay, this will take you to some information on the FEMA website about what kinds of projects are allowable. Right, that link will take you to there. So there's a list there. This link here, this will take you to the NOFO, and you go on page 8 to 9 of the NOFO. Okay, it takes you right down to there. There's some more example project types. It takes you right to there. So if you're looking for ideas of projects, we have the information really right on our website to make it easy for you.
Excellent.
Derek, just to add, the reason FEMA added those drop downs for AELs was to give you the allowable
Right.
projects, the allowable expenses, more or less. I know a lot of the AELs are sort of generic in a lot of respect, but it sort of minimize that, because if you go to, and Larry, like you said, you went to the AEL list, that thing is totally extensive. So
Yeah,
that's
it
the reason.
that was another eyes glazing over moment for me.
Yeah. Yep.
This is much better. I didn't catch on to this drop down on
Yep.
in the application. That's very helpful.
It is.
And,
It is
and
absolutely.
then we reference in that vulnerability to be addressed column, as you said, Derek, we referenced, I would refer to Josh Modlin's vulnerability assessment there. Do I refer to the page or something, or just by a generic topic?
You could probably just do by name. You can cite the page if you want, wherever you can fit in the box, but I would definitely, get some verbiage in there. If you have a page number, great, put that in there. Just you're trying to make it, what the theory here is, you're trying to make what you're looking for specific to the vulnerability to be addressed, right? You want to articulate how we're not just pulling this out of our butt, right? This is an assessed need that we know how much we think how much it's going to cost, and this is the AL for that need. That's what you're trying to say here. The more specific, the better. Yeah.
Very helpful, gentlemen. Thank you both. Yeah, that's great. Appreciate it.
All right.
I'm done.
All right. Thank you, Larry. Appreciate it. And feel free to stick on if you want. We're going to cover some more questions here. I've seen Jerry, I saw you joined us as well, sir, but I think Jen was on before you, sir. Let me hit Jen up first, then we'll get to you, Jerry. Jen Zerda, what questions do you have, ma'am?
I think I was just joining for the general information. This is my first time working on the grant, even though our organization has applied and been awarded in the past. So I was just making sure that we had kind of I's dotted, T's crossed in understanding the information. So no specific. And if it makes sense for me to go back to one of the recordings, it's already happened, just let me know the date and I can absolutely do that.
Well, and we'll walk through an application so you can see it. Let me ask you a question, though, ma'am. Have you registered in Salesforce yet? So you have an account at Salesforce?
Yeah. Our organization is registered in there. Yes.
Okay. Have you tried to start your application yet, or not yet?
I have not, but I may not be the person that's actually doing the filling out.
Okay. We'll walk through, so we have it here just to show you the process. It'll be on tape of how you do the application in Salesforce. So we'll cover that here in a minute. So stand by for that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you. And then there you go, Jerry. What questions do you have, sir? I think you're muted there, sir.
Yeah, still muted. Yep. Yeah, that if you look at the top right of your screen up there, in the top right, you got it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I think I'm on now.
There you go, Jerry. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Oh, I was saying for my team, I'm the chairman of the team, and I have one of my team members that have registered for Salesforce, maybe two of them by now. And I'm the designated project manager to get her done, let's say.
All right.
And so I'm tuning in today just to listen to how much I can absorb dealing with Salesforce, and I've encouraged every member of my team, there are 5 of them, to take the training anyway, so that we can speak Salesforce. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, then you're going to walk through a demo here today for y'all, so no problem about that. And you can see how it works. Have you also tried to start your application yet? Do you know, or are you just still just in the...
No, but one of my team members transferred to the North Carolina area, Raleigh, from Florida, and had experience with Salesforce a few years ago.
Great.
And so we think that's a real benefit. And it's a matter of her getting spun up on current Salesforce.
Perfect. Yeah, she should have no problem then. So, all right, so we'll pump into a demonstration then. You can see kind of how we do it. And then, of course, it'll be
Okay.
recorded. It's recorded, so you can watch the recording as well later. Okay, that sounds good. So, any other questions before we jump into our demonstration? All right. So just by way of a quick introduction, the application period, just so everybody does know, it does end 5/24/24. So that's the 24th of this month at 11:59 p.m. So you still got some time left, but the application deadline is approaching. It is a hard deadline, right? So basically the system kicks you off 11:59 p.m. on 5/24/24. So whatever application you have submitted at that point or completed or worked on at that point, that's the application that goes forward at 11:59 p.m. on 5/24/24. All right. So that's the one of the most important things to remember before we jump into demonstration. Brad, do you want to hit just a couple quick summary points before we jump into demonstration? We don't need to go through the whole PowerPoint slide. Just a quick few points you want to make, and then we'll jump into demonstration.
Yeah, Derek. The nonprofit security grant is a grant for eligible 501c3s. Houses of worship are inherently considered 501c3s, but for other nonprofits, you have to make sure that you have that designation. You have to make sure that you are eligible. There are a list of non-eligible 501c3s. So if you have affiliation or are linked to a municipality, a government, or something like that, that could disqualify you. I know volunteer fire departments are ineligible. There's a list. And if anybody has a question, you can contact me and I can send you that list of non-eligible, eligible, and non-eligible 501c3s. This grant provides funding support. Okay. A lot of applicants get it confused thinking that they're going to pay for everything. And Derek's pointed out earlier, when you are selecting the AEL list and from your vulnerability assessment, what projects you need, please get a quote. Add 5-10% onto that quote. Prices are changing. You may not go with that particular vendor. I hate to see you ask for $30,000 for a project and then come to find out it's going to cost you $50,000, because the $30,000 is what if you're awarded the grant, the $30,000 is what you would get, and you would be liable, or you would be on point for the other $20,000. So make sure that don't give guesstimates, get a quote and get the best estimate that you could get. Okay. Derek didn't mention this, but contract security personnel is also allowable under the grant, and you can only apply for up to 50% of the amount you're requesting. So if you're requesting 120,000, you can request 60,000 for contract security. The contract security, you also part of the grant, you are also expected to continue this after the grant period of performance ends. So please read up on that NOFO that Derek was telling you about, the different expenses and things that you can use. The vulnerability assessment is the heart of the IJ. Those are the projects that you're going to be requesting. If you don't have a vulnerability where your fencing area is already up, you don't need to ask for more fencing. That's not a vulnerability. Let the experts come out and tell you what your needs are, and then you tailor your request for what your funding is due to that, based off of that. Jerry, you mentioned something about being a project manager. There is a question on the IJ that asks for who is going to be the project manager in their experience. So that's something that you could possibly see. I think it's section 6, if I'm not mistaken. The period of performance on this grant is 3 years. It is reimbursable. Okay. We are finding now where organizations are finding where they cannot fund this thing, and they are turning around and rescinding the grant. If you're smaller organization, and you cannot afford to pay for these projects up front, you may need to consider that. And that's not to deter you from applying for the grant. I'm just telling you the reality of things right now. Do your IJ first, and then do the Salesforce portion of the application. A lot of questions that you need to answer will be coming straight off of your IJ. As Derek pointed out, you'll have to tailor the the target hardening section, and where we call them projects or their budget. That's the budget portion of the Salesforce application. A lot of you guys already have my information. I'll put my email in the chat. If you have any questions after this, please contact me. Larry, it's good to see you. I hope I answered your question yesterday.
Yes, sir. You
Okay.
did. Thank you, Brad. I appreciate all your help. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Derek, you go right ahead on and finish with the Salesforce.
All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. So again, pretty much I'm going to share my screen quick again here, and pretty much everything we've told you so far is on our website, right? So I just want to make sure everybody, and the link is in the chat to our website, or you can just Google NSGP space NCEM. It'll take you right to our website. So all the information we just presented is on there, right? All the rules about the grant, the requirements, the limitations, how much you can apply for, what is considered the UASI area, what's considered the state area. All this stuff is on the website. The link to the recordings that we were talking about, all the ones are here, where it says session recording. Those are the previous ones that we've done. We'll get the one on here today soon. If you're going to pick one, the first session we had with some technical difficulties with the Salesforce, but really any of the other sessions would be fine. If you want to watch a recording previously, and you'll see all the recordings up here as we proceed. But on the website, some people don't realize, please go to the right-hand side of the website, okay? Let me move this box out of the way, but on the right-hand side of the website, under Nonprofit Security Grant Program, in this kind of bluish box, there's the application documents right there, all right? So these things are linked throughout the text of the website, but if you go right here to the right-hand side of the screen, click on application documents, this is exactly what you need for your application, okay? This is the investment justification form. This is probably the most important, it is the most important document, as Brad mentioned. You really must complete this first before you start, or before you complete your Salesforce application, because the key to the Salesforce application is actually uploading the investment justification into Salesforce, along with your mission statement and vulnerability assessment. But this is the link to the investment justification form. This kind of starts the whole process, okay? So let's pretend I'm a nonprofit organization called Z Alpha Test. I've already created my website account, or excuse me, my Salesforce account for Z Alpha Test. I'm one of the registered contacts. Sub-applicant Derek will be my name, and I represent a nonprofit organization called Z Alpha Test. I want to apply for the FY24 NSGP program. So again, I go to the website. I just Google NSGP space NCEM, or the link is in the chat. I go to our website, okay? And on our website, oh yeah, I remember that guy said go to the right-hand side of the screen under the blue box, application documents. I go there, okay? The first one, investment justification. You must download this form onto your computer to open it and complete it, because it's not web viewable or web fillable. Okay, that's a very important statement. I click on it. It looks like this because it almost looks like an error message, right? Again, because the IJ is not web viewable or web fillable. So I must download the IJ, right, the document, onto my local computer. So I'll just do my downloads folder. Okay, now I download the form to my computer, all right? Then I go onto my computer, not the web, but to my computer. I use my free Adobe program, whatever Adobe or Acrobat program I have on my computer, and I simply open it up from my computer on my computer, and you will see the form. And this is a form fillable document. Just fill it in right on the form, okay? All your information here. It tells you how many points each question's worth. You know, right here, this is worth 5 points, you know, and so forth. 15 points for this, and so forth. The big section we were just talking about is section 4B, which is essentially your budget. This is where you're going to go ahead and, you know, go to the drop down and pick the AEL for the item or items or services that you're purchasing. Okay, this is where you refer to your vulnerability assessment and how much it's going to cost for each item. Again, if you're a single organization applying for an SGP, for FY24 SGP in the state of North Carolina, your maximum award amount can be $150,000. You're going to go ahead and fill that in here, and then complete the rest of the document. All right. So let's just say Z Alpha Test. I complete all this document, and I want to buy. We talk about security lighting. I want to buy some security lighting because I have vulnerability of poor lighting in my parking lot. All right. So I picked the AEL for that. 14SW01 lighting area fixed. All right. Vulnerability to be addressed. Low light in parking lot. Page 8 of see page 8 of my vulnerability assessment. All right, and let's say I have a quote that's going to cost me, it's really expensive lighting. It's cost me $100,000 because I need some extensive lighting. All right, so that's going to be my project. So I complete this whole investment justification. I save it to my computer. Then the link is in the chat for Salesforce. I put it in the chat already. So it's also, the link is on our website as well. But there's that big long thing there. There's the link. So I would click on that link. All right. Now that. And it will take me, once you sign in, and you must register, have an account, and sign in. This is the home page it takes you to in Salesforce. Okay, welcome to North Carolina Emergency Management Grants Board of Preparedness and Hazard Mitigation Grants. This is where you will submit your application. This is where your account resides. This is where your contacts are associated with your account. So before you submit your application, okay, what I want everybody to do is make sure you go to your account profile. Okay, so these are called objects at the top of the screen. Click on your account profile object. All right. Make sure you click all accounts, not recently viewed, but all accounts, and pin that to be your default view. Otherwise, you might not see your account. Z Alpha Test, that's the name of my organization. Click on that. Okay. Please, before you start the application, make sure all this information is correct and accurate for your account. Because what the application does is it imports the information from the account into the application. So you want to fix it here first so it doesn't bring over wrong information into the application. You can always stop and save your application, go back and work on it later, so you can fix the account later and go back to the application. But the better process is get it right up front before you even start the application, right? So let's just make sure everything is correct. Anywhere you see a pencil, you can update that, okay? So, I'm going through this and I say, wait a minute, I'm not Allegheny County. That's not my county. That's wrong. I am Alamance County. Where do they get Allegheny from? Go to the hit the pencil, go to the drop down list, hit save. All right. Wait a minute, my UEID. That's not right. I'm not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Okay, let me make sure that's right. I hit the pencil, I change it, and I save it. Right. So just make sure all this information is correct. Then you go into your contacts field, your contacts object. These are your different contacts under the contacts object, okay, that are registered and associated with the account. You may have up to 5 contacts associated with your account. In this case, we have 3. I'm sub-applicant Derek. I'm the one applying for the grant. I'm going to click on my information. And again, I want to make sure all my information is correct because it's going to import my information when I select myself as the primary contact for the grant. So I want to make sure it's right here before I start my application. All right, so I go ahead in, looking through all the pencils here. Wait a minute, that's not my right phone number. That's not correct. My phone number is 3339, not 3338. I got that wrong. Let me fix it. All right, so I fixed that. All the other information is good. So I've updated my account profile. I've updated my contact or contacts who are applying for the grant. Now I go back to the home page, all right, and I click on available grants. And again, please remember, always go up here where you see the black little drop-down arrow. Always, always, always do available grants, not recently viewed. Okay, available
Derek,
grants. Yep.
Derek, this is Jeff. Could you go back to that account profile?
Yep.
I was going to follow up with a question that Larry had.
Oh yeah.
And that
absolutely.
is once the document once all those documents are uploaded, where
Yep.
you see them.
Oh yeah. Oh, the 5 documents.
The 5 documents, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that So go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So Larry, I'll show you where you can upload them, but you can also put them here, and you'll see them on your account page here under files. So this was just a test we did over here. So we want to get those 5 documents here. That's great point, Jeff. Thank you. Yep.
Yes, thank you, sir.
All right. So I'm going back to the grant here, like I said. Please always, because we've had questions about this, for some reason the screen defaults to recently viewed. All right. And if it's the first time you access this, you might not see anything, right? So please always, always, always go to available grants and pin that as your default. All right. So now I see what I can apply for. I can apply for the Nonprofit Security Grant Program, NSGP. That's what I want to apply for. I click on it. And this is all the information about the grant. I can't change any of this. This is just Salesforce telling me what this grant's all about, right? So you can see everything here. You read all about these are active. Anytime we see blues and active hyperlink, anywhere that you see a box, a little information box, you just hover over that box and it gives you more information, right? So this is basically saying, hey, for the federal share here, it's 100%. So what that means is I have no matching requirement. Grantee responsible for non-federal. No, there's nothing there. There's no non-federal share, right? So this means it's 100% federal grant. So I have to front the money for it, right? But then it's 100% reimbursable from the federal government if it is an eligible expenditure. So that's some important information there. So he's read all the information, okay? And again, these reactive hyperlinks take you back to FEMA's website and our website. So I have them both open to look at as you're doing it, okay? So if you click on that, just show how it works. Just say, yeah, no problem, I'm gonna leave it. And it'll open up another tab with FEMA's website. I'd have that open if I were y'all. And then down here, you'll see our website. I believe this is our website. Yep. You'll see our website. No, it's FEMA's website too. Let's see here. Where's our website? Let's see here. This is our website here. There you go. That's ours. All right. So I have both those websites open. All right. Now all my tabs open. I'm good to go. I'm going to go ahead and apply for the grant. All right. Simply go up here and hit apply. I'm ready to go. My IJ is already done. I've got my mission statement, vulnerability assessment already done on my computer. All my information, my account is correct. All my information, the contact's correct. I'm ready to go. Okay, this is what I'm talking about, right? It imports your information from your account onto the screen for you automatically, right? So if it's wrong, at this point, you got to stop it, go back, fix your account, come back and work on the application, okay? But it's all right because we checked it. Anywhere you see a red asterisk, you must complete those fields. Nonprofit organization, yes, I am. Okay, am I located within the UASI area? The UASI area is the 8 counties. Well, it's Mecklenburg County and the 7 counties that touch Mecklenburg County. This case, I'm not in the UASI area. I think I said I was in Alamance County. So I'm not in a UASI area. That's important because the UASI area competes for a different pot of money than does the rest of the state. They compete nationwide for a pot this year of over $137 million if you're UASI competing nationwide. If you're not one of these counties, you're in the S area, you're competing for a total amount of $4,275,000 just statewide with the other county, with the other organizations that are in the non-UASI area in the state. So it's an important question to get this
Derek,
right.
can I point something out also?
Absolutely.
Also on your IJ, it asks that question.
Oh,
Are
yeah.
you in the UASI? You must answer that question correctly. Your application can be denied based off of an incorrect answer to that question.
Great point. Thank you, sir. All right, now here's where I grab the contact for the grant, right? So sub-applicant Derek, that's me. Again, I verified all my information is correct already. Hit save and next. And here's where it brings in that information for me, right? Otherwise, I have to stop it, go back, fix the contact, come back, keep working on the application. All right, but that's all good. All right, project title. Again, per the IJ, most of this is going to be just called target hardening, right? So I would just call it target hardening. Okay, or whatever you call it, whatever you want, but most people just call it target hardening. All right, this is where we're talking about that budget. Okay, so again, I'm going to go back to my IJ that I've already started. Let me close that extra IJ there. Hold on a second. Sorry, got too many IJs open. Let me close that extra one. All right, so here is my IJ that I've pretended I've completed. I want lighting, right? So this is my AEL right here. I'm going to just copy the AEL. Just copy it. All right, first I'm going to do my POETI category is going to be equipment, planning, equipment, organization, training, or exercise. Since I'm buying a fence, it's equipment. So I click that. Okay. Description is fence as a lighting. Okay, that AEL, I'm just going to paste it right in here. All right, that 14SW-01-light, that's your AEL. Post it right there. And go back to my IJ. I think we said this costs $100,000. Yeah, $100,000. Salesforce puts the comma in there and puts the zero, decimal 00 in there for you. All right. So this is telling me my budget is going to be for equipment, right? This is the category. It's security lighting or lighting. Costs $100,000. That's the correct AEL. It's just basically mimicking, again, what I have in this section 4B of my investment justification. So if you had multiple lines, you complete every line. In this case, we just have the one budget line. So I do not want to create an additional budget line because this is my entire project. This gives me a summary. It assigns it a unique budget line number. It'll assign you a unique application number. It'll assign you a complete overall budget number. So it assigns a number of unique numbers to your application. So this is your budget line number, $100,000, and I'm finished with the budget. All right, documents required for submission. Again, is your investment justification, mission statement, vulnerability assessment, any other supporting documents. So this tells you what you must upload on the next screen. Hit save and next. All right. Again, this reiterates. We can't say this, too many times. The IJ is mandatory and must be uploaded as the investment justification below. Mission statement, vulnerability are also mandatory, must be uploaded as other below. Okay. Any other documentation, supporting documentation is optional, must be uploaded as other below. All right. So, please. I beg of you, okay, if you attempt to submit your application in Salesforce, but you don't attach your investment justification, mission statement, or vulnerability assessment, that is an incomplete application. We cannot consider it. We cannot score it. We cannot rank it. We cannot consider it an application. So you must upload the investment justification, mission statement, and vulnerability assessment, or it is an incomplete application. All right. Larry, here's his other documents we talked about, the 5 required documents. Certification no overdue tax, again, optional at this time. You can choose to upload it or not. Will be required if you get an award. Conflict of interest policy, optional at this time. Will be required if you get an award. Local procurement policy, optional at this time. Will be required if you get an award. Electronic vendor payment form, optional at this time. Will be required if you get an award. And your substitute W-9, which is the state tax form, optional at this time. Will be required if you get an award. All right, those are optional. What is not optional, though, as everybody knows, is the investment justification, right? So I'm going to go ahead on, just upload right from my local computer. Give it a second here. I'm going to upload that investment justification. You'll see it doing its magic thing here. So I pull it right off my computer, upload it right into Salesforce. Submit it here, so fairly long document. All right, it's all done. Got a green arrow, I'm good. All right, so I've done my investment justification. There's my green arrow. I am good on that, man. All right, I'm making progress. All right, I don't upload any of these optional documents this time. I don't want to waste my time with that. I want to go to other. I will select in this drop-down list my mission statement, okay, which is right here. Apologize, a big long list, but go find mission statement. All right, pick my mission statement here, which I've got that right here is my mission statement. All right, I got green check mark. Great. Again, I'm going to go back down to other. You can upload as many other documents as you want here. You must select in the drop-down list what you want to pick. This is going to be my vulnerability assessment. See if that's there. It is right there. All right, I want to make sure I upload my vulnerability assessment. Second here, there's my vulnerability assessment. I got the green check mark. All right, so I've uploaded the 3 documents I'm required to upload. All right, now I also have an optional document I want to upload. All right, I'm just going to click other. I'm going to just pick other here as well in the drop-down list. I can't really find exactly what it would be here. I'm going to do other. All right, and this is going to be a police report. All right, we actually had somebody break into our facility from that dark spot in the parking lot. They got in through there. Our cameras couldn't pick them up. It was a dark spot. They came in the building through that way. So we have a police report here. I'm going to go ahead and put that report in here, which is right here. That's my police report. All right. So now I've uploaded all my supporting documentation, okay, including the IJ, which I've already previously completed. Hit save and next. These are just your required certifications because it's a federal grant application. There are 6 certifications required. The certification 1 lines up with paragraph 1 here. Application completes complete and accurate information. Yes, it does. EHP, okay, we didn't get into a long discussion of this because we could take a whole nother 3 hours talking about EHP. But basically, if you have a project that requires any type of physical installation, repair, renovation, modification, if you're hammering a nail into a wall, screwing a screw into a screw hole, disturbing even a teaspoonful of dirt, okay, an EHP could be required, all right? And what that means is you must fill out a bunch of paperwork. We send it to FEMA. They do a review against a suite of about 25 different federal environmental historical preservation laws. They make sure your project is good to go based on that legal review before you can start the project. Because you're using federal funds to be reimbursed for those items, you must clear the EHP hurdle first, and you can start your project and get reimbursed for it. Okay, so this is basically telling you, hey, if I'm doing anything like that, and here I'm installing lighting, okay, that's going to require an EHP. All right, so yes, I understand. It's not saying necessarily you have an EHP project. It's saying you understand that EHP could be applicable to your project. And you're not allowed to start your project until you clear the EHP hurdle. All right, so that's yes for that. This is saying you must use the FEMA authorized equipment list. And there's a link to the AEL you were talking about, Larry, the big long list FEMA has. That's there. But this is saying you must specify an AEL for all your equipment. And yes, I did. I picked it for the lighting here. Okay, submission of the project proposal is not guaranteed funding. I understand that. This is just an application. It's no guarantee of funding. We must be able to sustain our capabilities once NSGB funds are no longer available, right? So I can't just buy this lighting with federal funds and let it deteriorate, right? I have to have a plan in place to sustain and maintain that lighting even after the federal funds are gone. Yes, I do. We're going to put this on a regular maintenance schedule, and we will not let that lighting go bad. So I'm going to check yes to that. And this is the big one here. You're not allowed to lie on an application because it's a federal app. It's a state application for a federal grant. Both state and federal laws may apply. So if you lie in this application, you will be committing a federal felony and a state misdemeanor and/or felony. You can go to jail for a long time and be found a lot of money if you lie. So it's not worth it. Please do not lie. Just click yes, I understand that. Let's save it next. And you just submitted your application. And you will receive a submission email confirmation. So the email address registered to you as a contact, so if I make sure it's correct, you will get an email saying you submitted the application. That address, hit finish. Once you complete the application, you go under your applications object. Okay, well, again, we select all applications, right? Please select all, not reason we select all. Okay, make sure that is pinned as your view. All right. Now I have a number of applications here because this is my test account, so you can ignore a lot of these, but when we just submit it, it's application number 377. That's the number Salesforce assigns to it. So there's the project, there's what we just submitted here just a couple minutes ago. Click on that. There's my application. There's all the information right there. That's the details tab. Click on the related tab. You will see additional objects, EM documents. These are the 4 documents that I uploaded: my vulnerability assessment, investment justification, mission statement, and my other, which was my police report. Right, that's so you can see all the documents uploaded in support of your application. There's the budget. It's the budget number 328, and that's comprised of however many budget lines you have. In this case, you click on related, you will see all the budget lines, which in this case is just the one budget line, 1039, that makes up that overall budget, okay, of 328. There's your budget. All right. And you can always go back to your application to always go back to kind of see everything related to the grant, or to the grant, into the application itself. So again, there's your related tab. So there's really not a lot else that we've done so far other than create the budget, submit the application, attach the documents. As more stuff happens, these things will populate. You can always see your history here. Here's where you created it. And if it gets approved, you'll see an approval here if you were to get selected for awarded funding. But more on that if you actually get awarded funding. Now, if at any time you want to update your application, you simply hit update up until the point of the deadline, which is 5/24/24, 11:59 p.m. Anytime before then, you can update your application. You can withdraw your application anytime you want as well and start a new one. Right? So feel free to withdraw, start a new one. But whatever you have in the system at 11:59 p.m. on 5/24/24 is the application. Okay. Anytime you want to print your application, click printable view. you will see this kind of PDF document generate. So then you can go ahead and you can just print the page and you can save it as a PDF, or you can go print it to your local printer, your choice. Most people just save it as a PDF. And you've got your whole application there saved, and you can print a hard copy if you want or save it as a PDF. All right. So that pretty much is submitting an application. Once you complete the IJ, you update your account information, contact information, submit the application in Salesforce, attach the correct documents, which is your IJ, mission statement, and vulnerability assessment, anything else you want to attach. And then your application is submitted. Let me see here. I think that is pretty much all I need to show, unless there's any questions. All right, very good. I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
This is Jerry. I have a question.
Yes, sir.
When you're listing your AEL items, and in our project, we were trying to harden a building. Okay, so there's doors and cameras, and they could all be listed on the one application, right?
Yes. Yeah, you're correct. I did a very simple. I'll show you here. I did a very simple example, Jerry, but I'll share my screen again. I'm sorry. I should keep sharing.
Okay, so that's all I need to know is we can put the whole project as we see it.
Yeah.
On that sheet.
Yeah, basically on this IJ here, right? Section 4B, that was the lighting there, but you could have as many lines as you want. But again, if you're only a single location, your total maximum amount of money you can request $150,000. Right, so up to $150,000. But let's say you said doors was something. I think doors is on here too. Let's find where doors are.
Yeah, replace the doors.
Yeah, let's see here. There are doors right there. 14 SW01 door. So I'm gonna add that on here. So
okay, and then for the glass, we're putting a film, a film on the glass, a hardening film.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I need probably windows for that, but let me see here.
Okay, and we have three buildings. One has already been granted. And so the other two,
awesome.
we can submit both of those applications at this time.
If you've got multiple sites, again, it's $150,000 per site, up to 3 sites, total $450,000. If you have 2 sites, $300,000, each $150,000. So you can say each one up to $150,000.
Okay, and we can submit both of those remaining buildings at this time, at this cutoff.
So you would submit a separate application for each site. Okay?
Right.
So each site has its own application, up to $150,000 for each site. Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. I'm trying to see.
Larry,
question, Derek, if I may. I heard Brad mention contract security.
Yep.
Grants are limited to 50%. So
yes.
So we're doing this now, but we're hoping to get reimbursement going forward.
Yep.
We have off-duty deputy sheriffs, Durham County deputy sheriffs coming on Sunday mornings. So the grant, if we qualify and pass all the tests, we would receive only 50% of what we're paying the off-duty officers.
Yeah, well, I think that means you can only request up to 50% of your total award, right, Brad? So
and let me point something else out. You mentioned that you are currently using off-duty off-duty sheriffs, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now that's funding. You're paying them on your own. If you are awarded the grant, you have to do procurement under the grant. You're going to have to bid out the security. You're going to have to get at least 3 quotes for bids, and then you're going to have to go with whoever you go with. Now, they're sort of like on payroll already, and that could be an issue, because now what you're saying is, oh, we've been paying them already, but now we're going to pay them with grant funds. So you kind of, we'll have to talk about that a little more in depth. Should you be funding? Okay. Because that has come up recently as an issue. Okay.
Yep.
But we can discuss that.
Sure. I mean, of course, we need them now. We feel like we need them now, or we wouldn't have
Yeah.
I've hired him, of course. And
But
we have some, I won't say unique circumstances, but some special circumstances that make us believe we're a target for, well, we think we're a target for white supremacist hate groups.
Okay.
And
Okay.
because of our circumstances. So that's why we have them. But if we are going, and I know this only, we get no reimbursement for past payments. I understand that. And only if we're allowed the grant, we would have to pay and then get reimbursement for
what I'm saying, Larry, is this: you're going to have to put it out for proper procurement. You're going to have to bid this thing out if you're using grant funds. You just can't continue to use the sheriff's department.
Right. We'll need the 3 quotes, right?
Correct.
And then we'll have to, unless we've got good reason, we'll have to take the cheapest of the 3. But even then, you're telling me that the grant would provide reimbursement for only half of what we pay.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
No, half
yeah.
of what you request in the for the
Yeah.
grant. So if you're requesting funding for 150,000, you can only request for contract security 75,000. Half of the funded amount or the requested amount, you can only ask for half.
So, but if should our estimate? I mean, our estimate's going to reflect what. Well, actually, if we may ask for more because we would like, if we got funding, we would have more security and for more times during the week for various security. Well, whenever the church is open or when there are certain special events at the church. So I guess I've figured out we need to ask for as much time as we think we could possibly use if we got if the grant were approved, right?
Yeah.
You cannot ask for more than 50% of the requested amount.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
But
and anything past that, past the period of performance, you're responsible. FEMA wants to see you continue the security. You have to have a plan to continue the contract security after the period of performance.
Right. Okay. And so that would be part of the plan. But we can apply for it annually, right? With each.
Yes, you can, but it's competitive. And not to say you won't be awarded each year, but there's a possibility you won't.
Oh, yeah, I know we may not get it at all, ever.
Right.
Sure. But whatever we do put in it, we would only get half of the request. Okay.
No. Yeah. Let me just clarify real quick. So, what it's basically saying, if you look at this application here I'm doing right now, I have $25,000 for security guards. That's okay because I have $120,000 of other stuff, right? You basically can't just request security guards. What the rule is? You have to request at least something else in the same amount as the security guards, or more. Okay, because your total amount requested can't be more than 50% for security, right? So if you have here doors and lighting, you can request security up to 50% of the total amount of the award, right? So you'll get that full reimbursement.
Okay. Up to 50% of the total
award. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right. So you can't just request security. Yes.
50% reimbursement is not 50% of what we pay our security officers.
No.
It's 50 up to 50%. There's a limit of 50% of the overall award.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So like Brad was saying, if this were, let's just say in this case, the lighting here was 50,000, okay, and the doors were 75 or 25,000, you could request $75,000 of security, right? Because here you got lighting for 50, doors for 25. That's 75,000. I can request up to that same amount in security, total $150,000. Right? Okay. All right.
Very
perfect.
Helpful. Thank you. Thank you both.
All right. I'm gonna stop sharing. All right. Any other questions we can help anybody with? All right. Thank you all. We're right at about an hour. So we're going to go ahead and stop the recording, and we'll do this again. I think later this week we have another session coming up. Thank you all.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.